Hello my fellow gamer, it's Griffin here and welcome to another PoE2 video. Today we'll have a look at top 10 tips and tricks we can use for a smooth and fast campaign progression to be able to comfortably reach the endgame. Although we can use different unique items for fast progression, we are not going to focus on these items in this video. I made this guide as this would be our first character created and as we wouldn't have any crafting materials or unique item to our disposal in the beginning, but only the items and crafting mats we'll discover during our playthrough. Now let's dive in. We should try to upgrade the weapon as often as possible. Check vendors often as they may have items with good mods for sale. The weapon mods to consider would be plus X value to weapon damage or flat damage, X% increase weapon damage or spell damage, plus X value to skills or spells, X% increase attack or cast speed, allies in your presence deal X value increased attack damage. By socketing runes in our weapon of choice would represent a massive boost in damage, especially at the beginning of the game. Although we cannot unsocket these runes in the future, don't worry as we'll get plenty of runes throughout the game. Prioritize damage on the passive skill tree. Attack damage, spell damage, minion damage, attack or cast speed. Look for rings, amulets and gloves with plus X value additional damage to attacks or spells, or X% increase attack or cast speed. Movement speed stat can only be found as a prefix on boots. It is extremely important and should be prioritized accordingly. It can also be used as a defense mechanism. Being able to move or dodge out of the way quicker can make a difference between winning or losing that fight. Also, stats like life, mana, spirit, resistances, energy shield, armor, evasion are also very important and we should look for gear with these mods. Considering there are barely any life nodes on the passive skill tree, having a good amount of life on gear is very important. Complete side quests, especially the ones that give Book of Specialization. The 2 additional points from each Book of Specialization received can make a huge difference regarding character's power and passive skill tree progression. Mini-bosses that drop Book of Specializations during the campaign are the Crowbell in Act 1 Hunting Grounds area. The Lost Loot, it is a quest received from Una in Act 1 and will find her loot in Ogham's farmlands. Kabbalah the Constrictor Queen, we can find this mini-boss in Act 2 Keth area. Tradition's Toll, it is located in Act 2 the Shar area, and once we'll find the final letter, we'll return it to Shabrim back at the caravan to receive in return another Book of Specialization. A Mighty Silver Fist in Act 3 Jungle Forest area. There is an additional quest, Sacrificial Heart, in Act 3 Utsal area, and this time we'll only get 2 skill points but no Book of Specialization. Defeat the mini-bosses that give plus X amount to spirit, and it will allow our character to equip permanent skills that will give buffs or trigger minion support for a significant boost in power. Mini-bosses that give plus X amount to spirit rewards are the King in the Mists in Act 1 will give plus 30 to spirit, first time we'll defeat it. Then we'll get plus 30 to spirit by defeating the Bog Witch in Act 3. And then another plus 40 to spirit by defeating the same mini-boss in Act 6. It is worth mentioning that by defeating King in the Mist in Act 4 or Act 1 Cruel, we won't receive another plus 30 to spirit. We should look for gear with increased rarity of items found mod to increase the chance to get more rare items and more valuable crafting materials. We can sell the white items that do not represent a good base for crafting. We should keep the rings and amulets for crafting, especially the ones that have implicits like plus X value to certain resistances. We wouldn't be able to have maximum resistances in first acts. However, while fighting bosses that do primarily lightning, cold or fire damage, We can equip for that specific fight rings, amulets and charms that would significantly increase that specific resistance to be able to sustain damage throughout the fight and not having our character one-shotted. We can disenchant the blue items that don't have good stats, and we should use the bench in town to salvage items with sockets or with quality that don't have good rolls. We can sell the yellow items that don't have good mods. If our character struggles to defeat a certain boss, we can spend a bit more time leveling up. Even few more levels gained can make a huge difference. By pressing Ctrl key and left clicking on a waypoint would give the option to start a new instance that would reset that specific zone. In this way we can keep grinding until we'll find better loot and gain few more levels. We should upgrade the main skills by using higher level skill gems as often as possible. This would represent a significant boost in damage. We should also choose support gems that synergize well with our skills of choice and would add more damage to the build. Also, if our character will deal elemental damage, using curses that lower enemies' resistances would represent a massive boost in damage as well. Also, using spells that create elemental exposure are also fantastic choices. This will result in a comfortable and fun playstyle that has good flow and great damage. The Ascendency Trials are quite tough, but we don't have to do the Ascendency Trials as soon as we have the trials available to us. We can delay it for few levels until our character gains more power, has better defensive layers, and even better weapon upgrades. In this case, when we'll do the trials, we should have an easier time and progression. In the current patch, we cannot change the Ascendancy once our character has ascended. Therefore, it's quite an important decision and we should be certain regarding the Ascendancy we'll choose. And this concludes our look at the top 10 tips for a smoother and fast campaign progression. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. It will help the channel a lot and would be much appreciated. If you have any questions, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Bye.